This is what it's like being long-haired male who flops around in his sleep. If you try to grow your hair long, it's going to give you problems. It's going to give you problems. I'm not a woman, so I don't know all the wonderful ways hair can be. I'm just a monster. A long-haired...
I'm just a monster. A long-haired fucking barbarian type.
It's so difficult. But it's so simple too. I don't want to tie it up. I don't like that. I use my hair for antenna purposes. I use my hair for antenna purposes. Okay? Not style, antenna. Or as I like to say, mantenna. Mantenna. You can't take these damn things for granted. You just can't do it. There's too much data running through these bitches. A lot of conflicting, dissonant data running through these locks. So I'm going to try to comb them. Or brush them, I do say. Try to make some sense of it. Get... It can be done, and it works when you work it. This is just a simple thing of life. That's a bitch. Ugh. It's a real bitch, though. Isn't that funny? Such is life. Around the back, because my arm doesn't reach the full length, nearly, or something, I can't get the right leverage to brush my own hair. And I have to grab at it, and pull and yank. It looks like I'm trying to commit suicide, but I'm not. Don't think that. I'm not doing that. Suicide's a real bitch way out. I'm sorry to say, but it's not the one I wish to take. It's not. I think it's a big mistake, committing suicide. I think we're all going to die from a nuke anyway. I think we're going to die from a nuke. More and more every day. And what's that got to be like? Honestly. You see a flash of light and then you're in heaven? If I'm right about nuke ought to kill you pretty fast. And it's looking like that's what our government wants for us. Because there's no reason. They're not, nothing that they do for the people anymore. They don't even try to pretend like they do. I mean, they do a very, very little bit. But that's one of your signs that your government's AWOL, is when they don't listen to a damn thing you say. Sorry to say. I mean, people have been doing this for how long now? At least we know, roughly, of 2,000 years of history. And how many great empires do you get out of that time period? Great civilizations. A few, but none of them last more than 200 years. Here and there, sprinkled about. They're smaller and they propagate and get bigger. So, you know, obviously we're not done working on ourselves as people. We don't do really good governing ourselves. Because in a couple generations, our ass gets too high from the ground. Somebody was reading that. Oh, it was, I wish I could say his name to know his channel. Bald-headed guy. photographer. He lives in Tennessee. Theoria. See, he's got one of those weird fucking Greek philosopher names, and I don't do Greek. I really don't. I can't read the Greek letters. I'm not interested in it. I'm just not. I don't know why that is. It is a prejudice. It's a prejudgment that I've made that I don't like it. And I'm very limited of all things the Greek because I don't like it and I don't want to like it. I'm not going to. I think of all the things to waste time on in the world, you shouldn't waste time on things that you're not at all interested in unless you have a good reason to do something with that information. You know, I spent a lot of time filling my head with useless information enough already. I know a bunch of useless information, and there's not a damn thing I can do with it but share it. It's helpful for like artistic reasons. I mean, you want to have some sort of cosmology, right? I mean, what cosmology do you actually have, if you're honest with yourself, that really serves any greater purpose if it doesn't connect you with some sort of Godhead figure? You know? That's why atheists are inherently more fucked up a bit, because they don't have that concept of being watched by God. And that keeps a lot of people in line. And it's not in line because you're like, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to be in trouble. You don't want to let down the higher moral ground. You don't. You don't want to be an asshole just because you can get away with shit. See, animals will get away with shit. See, that's... And I'm not trying to be general or sound completely fucking eugenics crazy or nothing. But there is a evolution of form too, you know, and it lends itself to have good fucking hygiene and respect for yourself, basic understandings of the world around you. So it's not that there's no reason to say, but people are starting to get really complacent. They're getting really aggravated, really tense, like irritated, but it is causing a lot of brave type responses, and courageousness is welling up in people where it hasn't been there in previous times. No one really expected that. That was in Thomas Sheridan's Psychic Weather Report, and I sort of pick up on that too. So I agree. They're about to get Pearl Harbor. On TV, they're about to get Pearl Harbor. I'm watching the United States prepare and run all the scenarios that may happen before Pearl Harbor. And like, we already know how that story goes down. And I bet we know how this story goes down too. I like to watch Zeph, and Zeph's show came on, and it is now over, but he saw a documentary on the Pentagon that they have underground for continuity of government, and how that it's all built on springs to take the blast. Now, I've seen something about these springs in my dream. And when I woke up out of my dream immediately, I was going through one of those really heavy doors. And on the other side of the door were people that looked like Dune, except they had really big hats. They had really big hats on their head, like those conductor hats, but they were like really fucking big. And I was like, what in the hell is that?